ones. Welcome to Mindalia TV. Today we are with Miguel Dean. We will talk about sacred masculine. Our invited is author, healer, catalyst, blogger, and works with the sacred masculine. We will talk with him. And first time I want to thank you, Miguel, to be here with us, and welcome to Mindalia TV.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's lovely to be here and to be able to have a conversation and, yeah, perhaps share a little sacred masculine energy out into the world. So thank you.
So let's start, Miguel. We will talk about masculine, a different type of masculine. How Miguel see the sacred masculine?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really good question to start with. What is the sacred masculine? So the sacred masculine is many things in my understanding. Perhaps the most important thing about the sacred masculine is that it is a man that has balance with the masculine and feminine energies within himself. So there is an understanding, a recognition, a value, and an honoring of the masculine and feminine energies within. So sometimes there's confusion when we talk about these masculine and feminine energies. So sometimes I refer to them as the yin and yang energies, so it takes the gender out of it. So it's an embracing of both of those aspects, the yin and the yang within. The sacred masculine is also a man who understands that what we perceive with our senses, what we see with our eyes, what we hear with our ears, is just a little piece of what is actually going on. There is a lot of information, there is a lot of energy and so on that we can't see and that we can't hear and that we can't perceive with our human senses. So he knows that there is more going on and that we are living in this little narrow band of reality, really. And also he knows that what he can understand with his mind is just a little piece of something much bigger as well. Sometimes we think that if we can think about it, then it's real. But if we can't think about it, if we can't perceive it, I guess it's the question: what do we not know? What is there that's beyond what we can comprehend with our minds? So he understands that there is a really big picture, and I guess coming into connection with those 2 points is the fact that everything is connected. Just because we can't see our human connection, everything is made up of energy, and so we are all connected. And so as we do to another person, we do to ourselves. So if you like, the sacred masculine understands that humanity that is like lots of little tiny cells in one body. So just in a human body, if the cells in my foot are not healthy, it will affect the rest of my body. Just so that if the people in one country are not healthy and are not happy and are not at peace, it affects the whole collective of humanity, because we are all one, we are all connected. As we are all connected with the animals and the earth and the trees, everything is interconnected, and we all affect each other by our thoughts, our words, and our actions. It's all about the sacred masculine, really. I guess the big clue is in the word of sacred, belonging to God, or connected to God, or connected to source or the divine. It seems that modern masculinity has forgotten about this sacred aspect of what it is. And so I believe that without the sacred, all masculinity is incomplete, because it's just operating from a small separate ego identity. And as we can see from history, that doesn't seem to be working too well with what's happening in the world with our our leaders, and with the state of the environment and the suffering and the the disrespect of woman and the divine feminine, and all this crazy stuff that's going on because we've lost touch with the sacred.
The question, Miguel, is not to separate the masculine and create another, I think, idea of masculine. It's to take more things to the common masculine. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. I think that's really important. It's not about separation. It's about bringing together, and it's about it's like the masculine that we have at the moment. What is the common understanding of what it is to be a man is just one small narrow piece. There are lots of other pieces that need to be added to, and largely this yin energy or this feminine energy, and the sacredness, the understanding that the man's role is as a protector, as an upholder, and as a guardian, to use his strength and his qualities for the benefit of everybody, not just for individual gain, or not just for the gain of his immediate family, but the whole human family. When men start operating of how can I make a positive difference to everybody in the world, then we have a massive revolution of love, and then everything changes.
How can men do this developed in her being or in himself?
It's a good question. And I guess I always refer to, well, what was my own journey? How have I done this? And what it began with for me was that I wanted to be at peace with myself. So it was quite selfish in a way. It was, I wanted to be at peace. And for a long time, I felt like a boy in a man's body. I knew that something wasn't right. I didn't feel fully in my masculine, in my maleness. And so I began to do the work on myself, which can be sort of summarized as the wounds from my childhood, because we all have wounds, we all have traumas, we all have experiences that are challenging to us when we are young, when we are growing up in this dysfunctional society that we live in. We suffer wounds. So I began to heal those wounds, and I began to see, there were my father wounds and my mother wounds, the masculine and feminine aspects of myself. And so inside me was this wounded child. There was, to do the work on the inner child, the little child that is still fearful, that is still scared, that is still concerned that he can't be the love that he is, and that he doesn't feel worthy, and all those things. But you see, what then happened for me was that as I began to do that work, the deeper I went into that work, the more that I realized that I couldn't do that work in isolation. The more I helped other people, the more it helped heal my own wounds. And the deeper and the more I healed my own wounds, the more impact I was able to have helping other people. So a good place really, is just to start with yourself, to become aware of the places where you are not happy, where you are not at peace with yourself, and start exploring and start working on that, maybe with a therapist, maybe with maybe reading, maybe there's so many resources and so on, or maybe finding a healer or somebody that can help you. I do a lot of that work now with people that want to work on their masculine and feminine. So there are many different ways that we can do this, but it all begins really with this: I know that I can be better than I am. I have a desire to be at peace with myself, and I want to be the best possible version of who I can be.
This transformation starts with pain. and allows a open heart. It's like that, always like that.
Yes. Was the first bit that you said that it starts with pain? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, pain is a part of the process. It was certainly part of my process. And it seems to me, my understanding is that pain happens to wake us up. It's, you know, it's like life shaking us and saying, come on, you have to do things differently. So the pain is the motivation to start trying to do things differently. And when I talk about this work, yeah, I often say that, you know, essentially, especially with men, we are making the journey from the head back down to the heart, because we have been taught in our society to cut ourselves off from our hearts, to our feelings. We've been taught to deny them. Big boys don't cry and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of the journey is making the journey from the head back to the heart. And what happened for me was to begin with, when I started to return back to my heart, the first part was that I had to feel all the feelings that were trapped inside my body from when I was younger, from when I was a child, from when the traumas had happened, from the things that had happened to me as a young man that I hadn't felt fully at the time. So that energy is still trapped in the body. And when we go back to the heart, first of all, we have to release, we clear all that old energy. And then the prize is that we begin to feel, and we begin to feel joy, and we begin to feel love, and we begin to feel more alive than we ever thought was possible, because we've cleared away, you know, all this old energy that was blocking all those feelings.
And why sometimes we refuse to accept the pain?
Good question. I think the biggest reason why we refuse the pain and we don't want to step into the pain is because we are taught that we are supposed to be positive and happy all the time, and that we think if we go into the pain and we feel sadness or sorrow or grief or jealousy or anger, that there is something wrong with us. But there isn't anything wrong with us. You know, to begin with, we may feel a lot of that because we haven't felt it as it progressed along in our lifetimes. So it's this fear that there's something wrong with us, that, you know, society tells us be happy all the time, be positive, be smiley, you know, and the social media culture that we live in, you know, with photos of me having a great time and, you know, and all this stuff. So so it's sometimes it's talked about in the Buddhist tradition as the second arrow. We have something bad that happens to us, and that causes pain. And pain is a necessary part of life. There will be pain and there will be joy. There will be dark, there will be light. We live in the world of duality. But the second arrow that we often inflict on ourselves is this arrow of suffering. And that's when we give ourselves a hard time for having a hard time. So it's not just like we're having a bad time. We think there's something wrong with us and we punish ourselves, and you know, we talk negatively in our minds. Oh, you know, pull yourself together. You shouldn't be feeling this. You know, it's not allowed. It's not manly. It's not helpful. You know, what will other people think? So when we let go of this second part and allow ourselves to feel the pain, it will pass more quickly, as long as we are not perpetuating the pain with our thoughts and punishing ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm.
I will be a man with connected with this sacred masculine. How himself deal with a woman.
He deals with a woman with that's okay, with honor and with reverence, because he sees that she is the manifestation of the divine. She is, the same as he is. She is God or the goddess in human form. And he understands that although she is different to him, they both have these different qualities that both complement each other. Together, they have the potential to move from duality to union, which is what life is all about, from separation to oneness. And we can do this. I believe that is why we are here. We are here on this planet to experience oneness in human form. So we experience duality, but we have to have the comparison. We have to know separation in order to know what oneness is. So woman is the potential to realize God, is the potential to realize, to become enlightened, to come home to the truth of who we really are and what life is really about. So there is a deep respect for woman and for romantic relationship and, for connection, because it is the ultimate vehicle for finding peace within yourself. So when a woman causes a man the sacred masculine pain, the sacred masculine understands very quickly it's not the woman that is causing him pain. She is showing him something within himself that is not love, that he needs to heal and that he needs to clear. So there is this a very deep journey that a man and a woman can travel together to come home to the truth of who they really are and find real peace and real love. Real love, I'm talking about, not about the Hollywood romantic idea of what love is, because I think we have been given a lot of false information about how relationships and how men and women should be together.
Lovely, Miguel. Why you said that men and women are a complement?
Yeah, because we are different and we are the same, or at the same time. Because whether we're in a male body or a female body, I'm a soul in a male body, you are a soul in a female body, but the souls are not masculine or feminine. So beneath the layers of the gender of the bodies that we are in, we are the same. We are two souls, we are two sparks of the divine. But it seems that through, we are a mirror, we are a reflection of everything that is happening in life. Because if you like, woman is creation, the female is creation, is everything that is being birthed and that is happening. Trees, the plants, the animals, the rivers, the ocean, the water, the elements, wood and fire and earth, it is all part of creation. But the masculine is consciousness, is where the creation arises from. Because if you think about it, everything arises from nothingness, doesn't it? Something arises from nothingness. So if you like, the masculine is the consciousness, is the nothingness, is the void, and the feminine is that the combination of the two together, the consciousness and the feminine energy, births life. So we have to think about this. Is possibly a little bit complicated, but it's simple as well. We were taught a sperm and an egg coming together and creating a baby, yeah. But we have to rewind and go back a little bit and say, where did the first cell from that arrived, that began to form that sperm, and where did the first cell from that began to form the egg? They just arose from the nothingness, doesn't it? Everything arises from nothingness into creation. So that is the similar balance. That is the masculine, the nothingness, and the female, the something, the creation that arises from it. So we together, the man and woman, kind of like move through that dance in our own interactions. You can't have one without the other. Without the masculine, there is no feminine. Without the feminine, there is no masculine. And so together, it's beautifully illustrated in the yin yang. That there is the black and there is the white, but the white is present within the black and the black is present within the white. I hope that makes sense.
For sure. Miguel, why you think that it's so important to the world and life, this energy sacred of the masculine?
I think it's the next natural step in humanity's evolution. It's like humanity is growing up, and in a way we've been operating from this place like a teenager. Humanity is a teenager. He's selfish and he's just thinking about himself and he just thinks about the short term. So as we grow up, we're moving back into the sacred. And I believe that there was a time when we were in touch with this. It's perhaps prehistory and it's not recorded in what we've been told about the story of humanity. But I believe that there was a time when this was how we were, but we've forgotten it. We've fallen asleep. So I believe that it's a natural progression, just like the pendulum swings from one side and swings to the other. We move into the darkness. Now we have to move back into the light. It's a new age. It's a new dawning, and a new awakening is taking place. And this is documented in lots of myths and legends from indigenous people as well. So it's really important, because if we don't do something differently, it's questionable whether humanity will continue, because of what we're doing to the planet, because of the pollution, because of the deforestation, so many different things, and the climate change, and so much suffering that is taking place on the planet that I believe doesn't need to be happening. I believe that we are here. We have the potential to be living heaven on earth, but we just got lost, and we got sidetracked, and we got distracted with things, with little toys and trinkets and stuff. So we must move back. We have to do something different, because what we're doing now isn't working. And it seems to me that if we have a masculinity that is rooted in love, then that can't be a bad thing. For a moment, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you. I'm here. So I want to thank you this interview for our channel, and I give you the opportunity to say goodbye too.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Vera. It's been a privilege to be here, and my hope is that something that I've said in response to one of your great questions has been of value to, even if it's just one other person, but hopefully it's of value to lots of other people, because I feel that it's important work. I think it's important for ourselves and for the children. Most importantly, we do this for the children and the generations to come, because they are the future. I won't be here in this body, for too much longer, but my children will, and everybody else's children. So I think we have a duty to take care of the planet and to do things differently, so we build a more beautiful world for the children. So thank you for this opportunity.
So we have the theme for the next interview: how educate children to this sacred masculine. If you feel it would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah, it's all about the children, really, isn't it? And there's a saying that says it is easier to raise healthy children than it is to fix broken men. So we start with the children, and that's how we change the world. No.
So Miguel, let's do it. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Next time. All of you that see this video, thank you for being here and sharing. To put like in this video, it's very important for us, and subscribe our channel. We see you in next videos. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.